Hi, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. This is where you can be inspired, learn new techniques, and pick up some new tips and tricks. Get started by subscribing and clicking on the bell. Hi everyone, hope you're having a great and crafty day. I'm starting a new series with this video using the fantastic Spellbinders Merry Everything Christmas Kit. This series is going to help you make tons of beautiful cards in a short time, and I'm talking 40 to 50 cards, maybe more. We'll see where it ends. If you think it takes too much time to make handmade cards, or if you have the kit already but you don't know where to start, this series is for you. Obviously, you will get the most out of this if you have the Spellbinders kit I'm using. Though it initially sold out, it is available now. I've included a link to get it and most of the other supplies I'm using in the video description box. So let's talk about the kit. It's a special edition from Spellbinders. It does not require a subscription. It has an amazing 630 plus pieces and is pretty comprehensive. I'm going to show you just bits and pieces of the kit here while I'm talking, but I've done a complete unboxing of it and you can go there to see everything included up close. The link is going to be found right up in the top right hand corner of my screen or in the video description. So I hope you'll follow along and make some cards with me. You'll need a few additional supplies and I've got links for these too. Please note that since my goal is to be fast, these cards are simple and I'm choosing to skip the paper piecing using the card die. It's such a minor part of the kit. This video shows the first 10 cards, my next will have 20, and I'll finish up in video 3. I'm not sure if that will have 10 or 20. We'll kind of just have to see what happens. So now is the time to make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon so you get a notice when the other videos are posted. Alright then, let's start with card number 1. I'm going to start this card with a couple pieces of the paper from the pack. This one is 3 3/4 by 4 inches and another piece 1 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to put this on one of the A2 white cards. So first of all, I'm going to attach the two pieces of paper together, and you see where that Christmas line is? That's where I'm going to put the other pattern paper so that the whole line is kind of used as my straight line and you'll be able to read the whole line of words there. Once that's in place, I can go ahead and glue this on. This is a brand new tape roll and it just was giving me a little bit of trouble, but as I used it a little bit, that all straightened out. So anyway, I've put this on my card base. And then I've got one of those little journaling cards. I really like this Santa Photos one. I'm definitely going to use it in another card, but there are 2 of every card, so I'm going to take advantage of that and use both of these on both sides eventually. But for this one, I'm using the card which says "Glad Tidings We Bring," and I'm going to use one of the glitter sentiments that say happy. It makes me happy actually, it's so pretty. And then I'm going to take one of those red word strips with the gold writing, and it says holidays. So it will say "Glad Tidings We Bring, Happy Holidays." And then I'm just going to use a few drops of gold glitter glue. This is Stickles in Platinum, and it's the color I'm using throughout the video with these cards. This is not part of the kit and is one of the few extras I'm going to be using in this card series. And of course, I've included a link in the video description. And that's it, guys. That's card number 1. For card 2, I've got a few pieces of the star vellum here. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to put in the middle some of this glitter cardstock. It's 3 3/4 by 4. And to put this together, I'm going to put a thin strip of adhesive on each side of the vellum. And then I'll be able to put the glitter cardstock on top of it. So I got a little bit on my card there with adhesive, but not an issue because it's going to be covered, of course, with more adhesive. I'm just lining that up. The vellum here is 1 inch wide by 3 3/4. Alright, so then that can go onto the card, and I'm going to go ahead and apply adhesive for that. So now I can go ahead and apply the paper and the vellum that we put together here. You just want to make sure, of course, that you're opening for the cards in the right place. And you'll see me do that often throughout this video. I chose the sentiment, "Here Comes Santa Claus," partly because it has that same mint green to go with the car, but I also like the word play of someone coming with a vehicle with Christmas gifts and a Christmas tree, because in the way they're playing Santa Claus there. So Here Comes Santa Claus made perfect sense to me. So all I needed to do was set up the card a little bit by applying some of the double-sided glue dots that are included in the kit. So I just put those on. You don't need a ton of these, especially for cards that you're going to be, sending for Christmas. The people are likely going to be tossing, unfortunately, after the season. This card didn't need much to finish it off. I just chose one of these little sentiment arrows that says fa la la, and it's done. Card 3 starts off with a little bit of paper from the paper pack, and I'm just going around the edges of this with some vintage photo distress ink. The size of this paper will be shown in a moment here. It is 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. Now I put the vintage photo around the edges of the paper just to add some definition or some edging to the paper. This way it requires less matting, but it still makes the piece look a little bit more finished. So it's a speedy way to get some things done and still have a nice appearance. So I'm going to put this just slightly off center, a little bit more towards the top than the bottom. And then I've got one of these branches, which I really like these branches. There's 2 of them, as there is 2 of all the ephemera pieces. But I just think it's a nice shape, nice and long, but not too fat. And this bow to me said it needed to go here. It was one of the first things I thought of when I was going through the ephemera. So I'm going to put that on there. And then I will add a sentiment. And this is "'Tis the Season." This is one of the pre-printed sentiment strips. And I'm going to use a piece of that double-sided tape that came with, or double-sided foam rather, that came with the kit. Just trim that off the edge, and it's perfect for the back of the sentiment strip. So with that, we're almost done, believe it or not. All we need to do now is just add a few accents. And I decided to add some red gems. I used quite a few of them, actually, 5 all in total. I can't do that with every card, or I'd be out of these gems in no time at all. But I did have a lot of space here, and I wanted to fill it up and add some glam to offset or accent that gold in the sentiment as well. And I think the end result turned out really pretty. And there it is, card number 3. Card 4 begins with a 5.5 by 1.5 inch strip of this red and white word paper again. And I'm going to put some of the vintage photo on the top and bottom of this piece. Then I'll move on to the journaling card that I picked. This is "Meet Me Under the Mistletoe." It's really pretty. And I inked that as well. So now we're ready to put on the paper. I'm just going to put, again, some of our adhesive on here. And you could use any kind of glue, really. A liquid glue would be perfectly great. The only thing is liquid glue sometimes takes some time to dry, and it can wrinkle your papers. So for this situation where I'm trying to make as many cards as I can, as quickly as I can, I'm just avoiding the whole liquid glue thing. So I'm just laying that out, kind of getting a feeling for where that block is going to go. And in this case, rather than using it as a present per se, I'm using it almost like a little table. I'm going to put it up on some foam dots, and then that'll be placed down. Now, in this kit, there are a few really, really cute cat images, and I'm going to use one of them in this card. You'll see it in a minute. Here it comes. So adorable. So in this case, I'm going to put a little piece of that foam on the one end, but the bottom of the cat is going to rest on top of the cube that's already raised. So I don't want to put a foam dot right there. I do want to put a little adhesive though, so it sticks to the cube. And then it looks as if the cat is sitting on that. To make it perfectly clear that the cat wants to meet you under the mistletoe, I included the black epoxy arrow sticker, and I think it turned out super cute. Well, we're on to card 5, and I'm using this journaling card. It's one of the large ones that I trimmed off so that it would fit on the A2 size card. And then I'm going to use the vintage photo and just go around the 3 sides. I chose not to do the bottom of the card, just the 3 sides. And once that's done, I'm going to add the last piece of double-sided foam tape. This is 3M foam tape. There just isn't enough of the pop dots in the kit, and with the volume I'm going to be making here, I do need a little bit more of this kind of product. So that's what I chose to use. And now I'll just go ahead and put it on. I want the bottom to be flush with the bottom of my card and leave a little white space on the top. And then I'm going to add one of these candy epoxy stickers and a couple of the chipboard small stickers, again in that mint green, and then I'm going to use the black one. And yeah, it took me a little bit to figure out where to put it. I didn't want it to look like it was coming out of the bear, if you know what I mean. So just to add a little bit of glam to this, I decided to add some gems to the middle of each of the candies. And so a couple small ones and a medium one worked quite well. And then the final touch was a little bit of the platinum stickles at the top of each of the ornaments, just to highlight those. And that really is it to this card. Simple but very cute. For the next card, I chose one of the large memory cards again, and I trimmed it apart. So I used the top part, which said "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and then I cut out the little mouse part as well. And this mouse is so cute. Now, to make it all finished, I did use the vintage photo around the pieces, and then just used my double-sided adhesive, and I will put these in place. Very simple. All right, and then I thought it would be fun to include one of these Santa letters. These are 3D little letters with Dear Santa inside the envelope. So cute. And then I added the little joy sentiment that is part of the sticker pack that comes in the kit. Next comes one of the white or diamond looking gemstones to go for the dot on the eye in night. And then the final step here is to embellish with 3 of these chipboard stars. And I just kind of space them out by putting the first one and the last one and making those fairly even, and then the one in the center is easy. So I think this one turned out really cute, and again, super fast and easy. For card 7, I've got a couple pieces of paper here. First of all, I have this white and black tree piece, which I've edged with the vintage photo, and also this blue cardstock piece, which I also cut out. The blue piece is 3.5 by 5.5, by 5 1/4 rather. And the black piece is just a little smaller in width, 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And they're going to just be stacked one on top of each other. And I put it flush, both pieces flush with the top of the card, so there's a little bit of white space at the bottom. And then I've got a whole bunch of embellishments to put on this. The first thing I'll do is with the snow globe here, I'm going to tie a piece of twine around the base of it. And rather than trying to do a bow, I'm just going to do a simple knot. Again, in the interest of speed and time, the simple knot will be as effective. And then of course I'm going to use my scissor and trim off the twine to the right size. Doesn't need to be very big, just enough to accent that piece. And then I'm going to work on this collage that you see here, where I have the snow globe sitting with the joy sentiment, which by the way I also used distress ink on just to make it stand out a little more again. And then I'm using one of the ephemera pieces also that is blue and white. It's this really pretty snowflake. I think it all goes nicely together there. And then last I have the deer that I'm going to have leaping over the house in the snow globe. And I'm using a few of those pop dots that came with the kit for this. I love the idea of putting this deer or reindeer above the snow globe in the house to look as if it's leaping over the top of it all. I think it really turned out cute this way. Now I'm going to add a gem again to the snowflake, the middle of that. I'm going to use the diamond or the clear in the medium size. And then last, I used some of the stickles in the platinum again, just to put a few more dots of embellishment here. Give it more of a wintry, chilly feel. Straighten that knot up a little bit, and there it is, the finished card. I think it turned out great. All right, here's card 8, and once again I'm going to use a strip of 3/4 by 5.5 inch of red glitter paper. This is actually cardstock, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of my card base. Then I've got a piece of paper here, 4 by 5.5. This is a pretty poinsettia paper. I'll go ahead and glue that down and just make sure it's flush on the one end and straight across the card so that we have a nice even bottom of red glitter cardstock showing through. Next is going to come this memory card which says a December to Remember. I went ahead and trimmed it around the edges with the vintage photo, of course, and I'll place that. It's not quite in the center, it's a little bit more towards the top than the bottom, but just slightly. Then I'm going to bring in my stamp press because I'm going to use a stamp. The stamp I'm going to choose here says Happy Holidays. It's a cute one. And I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers, the Works All-in-One tool, which includes a lot of things: a trimmer, a bone folder, a stamp press, there's an envelope maker on board. There's actually a total of 10 different things. I have several videos on the on this tool, and I'll put a link to that also in the right hand corner of this video, so you can go check out that if you're interested in this tool. It's pretty neat. I did have to stamp it a couple times, but that got my image on there very nicely. And so now I'm going to take these trees, these little bottle brush trees. There's a green one and a pretty gold one. The gold one I'm going to put up on foam dots, but just the strip, the empty strips. So, you know, always remember, guys, that when you use these products, the empty space can be used as well. And like in this case, it's perfect. So I will just place that as you see there. And then I wanted to add a little bit more on the bottom, so I chose 2 of these red and gold letters, word strips. The first one says Christmas. The next one I'm going to pick says Cheer. Next are going to come some additional embellishments. I'm going to bring out the gems again and apply 3 of these clear or diamond-like gemstones. They add nice accents without like taking over or making your eye go straight to them. Just a little bit of bling that you need there. The last thing I'm going to do is apply one of the little ephemera pieces that says and. It's the and sign. So now my piece says, or my card says, a December to Remember, Happy Holidays, and Christmas Cheer. And there it is. All right, here are cards number 9 and 10, and I greatly apologize. I did take video of these 2 being constructed and I accidentally deleted them. So that was a bad moment for me, but I did want to share them with you anyway, and I can tell you a little bit about them. This uses one of those large journaling cards that I trimmed down and put on an A2 card base. It is cute because it says Christmas list. And then I took a piece of that paper, made a strip, and just trimmed out the one end to make a flag. I used one of the dimensional stickers which says Dear Santa, define naughty. I used the epoxy reindeer and star, then added the naughty and nice word strips. I also put in a few stickle drops at the top and bottom, and I think that the end result of this is pretty cute. You know, this poor little deer wants to know, is she naughty or nice? All right, this last card is again taking advantage of one of those large journaling cards. I just trimmed the top and bottom to fit. and then I edged it with the vintage photo. I used an epoxy sticker, this Noel, which had these accents on the edge, so I put that all in place. And then this 3D sticker as well, I just put at the top of it. Then the last thing to do was to add the clear red and green gems, and that was all it needed. Well, that's the first set of 10 cards using this kit from Spellbinders. I hope you enjoyed seeing how quick and easy it was to create some great little cards. I'll be back again with another video with 20 at least. My plan is to do 20 for the next one, as I mentioned, and I'll probably do a third one with at least 10, maybe 20 as well. We'll see how it goes with how much materials I have to work with. So I'm going to sign off for now. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye. I'm so glad you joined me today. If you liked this video, please don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell so that you get future notices for this card series. You can keep the fun going by clicking on one of the videos that I've put up here for your enjoyment as well. Thank you so much.